So then you guys ate the dog food that night for whatever reason.
It was there.
For what it's worth, those treats were sitting on the table and they just looked like normal people treats. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready? Everybody shut up. Everybody, we're glad to have with us Jeremy Wurst on here with us tonight. He is the owner of Coyote Face Recording. He also produced and recorded our last record, Everything All at Once, and we're very excited to get to talk to him. We're going to dive into a couple of questions that you guys have and just kind of talk about the record and the recording process in general. Thank you for being here and listening. Hope you enjoy it. So Jeremy, thanks for being here.
well, I'm glad you guys asked me to hang out. I miss you guys. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same.
well,
we miss
first
you
off,
too.
thank you for just recording our record. I don't know. I just want to say that.
I'm super glad that you guys came and hung out. I was deep down very, very like looking forward to it, but I was like, just leave them alone. Don't pressure them. Like, let's like let them work on their. But I was really excited to have you guys come and hang out for a month. So
And what a great time
Same
we
for us,
had,
I
right?
think.
Yeah, like I had a blast the
Mm-hmm.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like highlight of the, I mean, like kind of a crappy year, but highlight of the year, probably.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
what's crazy is I don't think any of us realized what was going to become of that year while we were there. Like, I remember we were talking about it in the studio, like, oh, this Corona thing, like, what's going to happen? What is it? And then, like, we got home from our studio time, and it was very different, you know?
It was the
Yeah.
last good thing.
well, you guys still made it out to Facedown Fest, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
And that was a
Last
blast.
2 days, I remember Justin being on his phone and being like, dude, there's some like weird virus, the corona, or it was called COVID-19. They didn't have like the slang for it yet, and we were all like, oh, okay, like totally went over our heads, you know, like,
Yep.
Yeah.
but you
that's
guys still
weird.
went to Facedown Fest, didn't you? Or did they
Oh, yeah.
cancel it?
Yep.
Nope, we got there, and like it was crazy too, because when we got there, it was like zero social distancing, zero, like nobody like was worried about the
Nobody
virus,
said
right?
anything about it.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
There
it
was
barely a
one
problem.
person in a mask. But yeah, I think we our last show of that tour was in St. Paul, and like the next day, like venues across Minnesota and the country just started shutting down. So it was like, you know, like when we first heard about it, it wasn't like really serious, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, yeah, we got to do something, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we barely made it home.
I definitely remember I went back to work for 2 shifts, so I worked like, you know, whatever, 15 hours, and then it was over. They laid everybody off. Like nobody's coming back until we can sort this out, and then I didn't go back to work until July.
Dude, they did that like overnight to you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Same.
So
Yeah.
I like it was like the end of my second shift back from tour, and they were like, "We're not gonna open up after the weekend." Like, sorry guys, like it's like we can't. It's not safe. And I remember losing my mind because I'm like, I just haven't worked for a month.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like
You're
we
making the
didn't
record, yeah.
work for a month. We were making the record. We were on tour. Like, I'm like, I probably have the coronavirus if we're being really honest. Like, I had no idea. And it was really scary. It was really tough.
Oh, yeah. I thought for sure if anybody had the coronavirus, it was all of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and like I was in a couple airports, and so when I got home, I definitely hunkered down. There was probably a good month where I probably didn't see anybody but my wife.
Yeah. Well, and like, cause like there wasn't any testing at that point in time either. Right. Like there was
Not really, no.
nobody knew what to do about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are still like fighting in grocery stores, you know, or just starting to.
Yeah.
couldn't find it.
Everybody was clearing out the toilet paper rack.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were so ill prepared.
I think about that. We were kind of like idiots about it because it was this thing we kind of like said a couple of words about sitting on the couch in the studio and kind of just like, whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
Tell me, any of us knew about the severity?
We had no idea. Yeah, we had no idea.
We were in our own little world. You know, we weren't seeing anybody in Nebraska. We were all just doing our own thing, like 12 hours a day in the studio, regardless of all of that. Like,
we rarely left.
Pretty downplayed though. Like, it wasn't as big of a deal in terms of like awareness. You know, like a lot of people still didn't think it was a big deal at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
All right, you guys want to dive into this? Before we start with any of the questions, do you guys have anything you want to say about, I don't know, the record making process in general? All right.
Well, let's pick this apart for a sec, because like you guys, this was like a new thing for you guys because John had moved. So you guys were trying to figure out how to like write remote, but this was like a learning process for you guys too. Like you guys came and did some demos. And I remember you were just trying to like get some stuff together, but then like, didn't the other 4 or 5 songs, like that was like a session that got bounced around, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, like what you alluded to is 100% correct. Like brand new writing remotely, like what we did when we came in on tour and like jammed at your studio and did demos, like that's kind of what we did anywhere anybody would let us, you know, while we were on tour, because that was our only chance to write, while not remotely. And that was brand new for us. So we really were trying to use all that time the best we could. And I think we talked about this before. We demoed almost everything on the record at your place, maybe besides like I Will Not Go. And
Reservoir too.
Reservoir.
What is it called? In This World.
Yeah.
Working titles.
We'll be using working titles.
Yeah.
But like honestly, so like for a producer, like worst case scenario is like this band has not written any songs and they have no idea what they're doing. And then like the other worst case scenario is like they've been working on this for so long, they're so married to every little thing that there's like no room for creativity. So like you guys were like right in the perfect middle where like things were still pretty fresh, still pretty open-ended. Like you had your structures and you guys had a lot of stuff, but like there was still some open-ended lead stuff. And like Justin, you were working on a few of the leads for a few of the newer songs. So like what I really loved was like it was kind of like we had these blank palettes. So like you had like the core song, but like it kind of felt, I don't know if it was stressful for you guys, but it was like kind of fun being like, we would like shop guitar parts and we would like shop like bass line. Like I loved it. Like I kind of loved how loose it felt. I don't know if that was like stressful for you guys at all, but like for me, it was like kind of fun to be in almost like the half creation process with you guys, as opposed to like, oh, yep, like he wrote his bass line and like it's been this way for 2 years and like we're just gonna record it as is and I'll make it sound really good. So like it was really fun to really kind of dig in with you guys, I guess. But I might be jumping too far forward now, but
well, I totally agree with that. I remember John and I had a pretty brief conversation about something like that, where with the record Stranger Here, we definitely like came in with like fully fledged demos. Like we knew really well about what all of our parts were about to be, and everything all at once was like totally different because we hadn't been able to write together. And like when we did Stranger Here, it was like we're all in the same house. Like anytime we want to work out an idea, we can do it. It's all right here, right now. Like practice it as hard as you can and let's track it as fast as possible. Like we're married to the ideas, and I thought it was super cool to have the opportunity to like really like play with it, and like especially the style of track. What do you call it? The process that we went through too. Like usually it's always a song a day. Yeah, usually it's let's play all the drums, let's play all the bass, let's play all the guitars, let's play all the vocals. Like let's and so a song a day keeps everybody really involved, and it made it really easy to do exactly what you were saying, like shop the parts out what works best, you know.
Honest question, did everyone like that?
I mean, to me, it keeps you in the song. Like, you're not, you know, like it stops you from picking like a guitar tone for the whole record. It helps you like create the sound and the tone and the part that you want for the song. And the whole day you're like thinking about this song, as opposed to like, oh, I got to sit here and play guitar for 6 hours for the whole record.
Yeah, like I haven't even thought about my strumming pattern for the 6th song, and I have to track it today. To be honest, I hate doing the other method. I've actually been enjoying doing drums last.
Yeah,
it's the thing that I think that's fun about it is it leaves space. Like you're not just like, we got to get this done today. And it's like, whatever drums end up there, they're there. And so like, and you can kind of redo stuff, but like, you know, if you're 3 weeks in, the drums are probably put away. So it's like, just kind of nice to be able, like, we could have patched a fill in at any point, you know, or whatever. But, well, I'm glad you guys liked it. It's sort of like, it's like a process, like I've learned and I've developed myself. And so like, every band is sort of like I'm trying my refined process out on them. So I'm glad you guys. Because the other thing too is like some people get worried about like me neutering the like feel, you know, or whatever, you know, because it's too whatever. But I don't know. Like no one's ever complained, and it just kind of makes
my favorite way to record. Yeah.
I thought it was super great too. I remember going in initially thinking I never really like talked about it, but I was definitely worried about like consistency between days, you know what I mean? But then when I realized that like we're going to be working on new tones for just about every song anyway, the consistency is irrelevant. It's you know, it doesn't even matter anymore. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think like the consistency is in us, you know.
Right.
Just like doing the thing that we do, it's going to sound like us. No matter what. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, even down to the way you guys play and strum your guitar is like very you know. So it's kind of like you, whether you want to do or not. So
yeah. Well, and I want to go back to kind of like the open-ended thing, like things not being not everything was 100%. And I think in most situations, at least myself, I would be like self-conscious of that. You know, like, oh, I messed up. I don't have my guitar part done. But writing this record was a little different. But Justin did come to my place a couple months before, and we worked on vocals and stuff. And that was really important for me because, like, I hate to write leads if I don't know what the vocal melody is. And so I think that's like one of the big reasons why we like leads weren't 100% because we were kind of just like waiting for the melodies to get in there to figure out what the leads were going to do around that. So it was really cool just being like you being really cool and open and actually like happy that we got to shop guitar parts as opposed to like, wait, you don't have your part written yet. You know what I mean? Like that was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
I think the main, when you're in that situation, the only time it is stressful when someone doesn't know what they're doing is if there's a time constraint. And so eliminate that factor. And now it's like, yeah, man, that part needs some work. You are right. Like, and we have time for you to go and think about it. Cause like maybe you've never heard the drum fill that your drummer decided on, and now your lead no longer works. So it's like, it's really not a problem as long as we have the time to do it. And I'm glad you guys, how long did you guys work on your last record? Was this longer or shorter?
How long did we work on Stranger Here?
I think 18 days, I want to say.
So it might have been the same.
Well, but we also
it was about the same.
But we were there for 18 days, but we also took Sundays off and half days on Saturdays.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we probably got a full 4 or 5 days more on this record.
Yeah, and I think we would have had a little longer if Face Down Fest wasn't in the way, but
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose we recorded stuff at our house after the fact too. Like we had sent over some audio clips. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, I guess we did work on this record for a month, and then yeah. Which, like, to me, like, I'm finding now that I'm like, man, a month almost doesn't feel like enough, you know. But I don't know. It's like there's also something really cool about like getting that long and having the time to like sleep on stuff overnight. Big thing for me is like I was talking with Chase from Salt Creek about this. We both do this same thing where if you write a song or if you record a song or you mix a song or whatever, you can't wait to go to bed and listen to it on headphones. And I was like, man, that's such a like, and that's what I would do every night working on you guys' like scratch guitars and vocals. But I'd be like, I'm going to put headphones on and check this out because like, you know, I can't wait to see like how it evolves, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, and it also laying in bed, you're like, maybe we should get rid of this thing, you know, whatever. So
yeah, I remember that being one of the best parts of the day too. Like I remember we'd be sitting in the studio at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're winding down for the day, getting our party on a little bit, and then all of a sudden, we get this fresh bounce to listen to, and then we're all tucked into bed and. Like I got my headphones in and I'm listening to what we worked on all day long. It was fantastic. And even if it wasn't 100% ready to go completed, it was still awesome to listen to it and be like, wow, like this is way better than I ever could have imagined, you know?
That was also the really cool thing about doing the song a day is like just the way you worked and the way everything worked out is like it wasn't like we had to wait. You know, some studio experiences you get into, you have to wait for the drums to get edited or whatever, like all the final edits to do. But we were like, the end of the day, like the song was there. You know, I don't think there was much to do. And that was a really cool feeling to not be like, oh, this will sound better later. And we wouldn't hear it. We could hear everything we were doing in real time. And that was hugely valuable.
I remember when we did Stranger here, it took months for me to be able to hear my own drum parts. Like it took all the way until the mix, which was like 3 months after the fact. And it was like I didn't hear any of my drums until they were like ready. And I remember being super hyped on like how they turned out, but it took a long time to actually hear them. And that was tough, you know?
Yeah, everyone works at a different pace. It's like it needs to feel good right away because a lot of how I work and how I perceive sound in songs is like intuitively and like emotion based. Like, oh, that guitar tone makes me feel so uncomfortable. This is it, you know, or man, that snare drum sounds so evil right here in this section or whatever. But so it's also kind of like the instruments themselves have to bake themselves into it. And it's not like this can be done later. It's like if you have the wrong snare drum or the wrong guitar, you can't wait till the end of the process to find out if that makes sense.
Yeah, but, that's true.
That's like a pretty big. It also makes it easy because I don't have to do a bunch of work later.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, shopping tones was a ton of fun. I thought, like snare tones, guitar tones, anything. Shopping the tones was a ton of fun for me. I thought.
Yeah. You want to dive in some questions here? The first one I got. This is kind of almost backtracked a little bit. Is the first one I've gotten a few times. Is how do you pick a producer or an engineer to work with? And so I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, and kind of just how we met Jeremy too. That's probably a good story.
So we met Jeremy. I'm trying to remember if we met him while we were when we toured with Salt Creek, or if it was before then.
No, the first day I met him was that first show. That's the first time I met him. I think.
Okay, yeah. So it was in Sioux City,
City, yeah.
Sioux City, Iowa. We were playing with Hot Mulligan and all that. Kayak Jones and Salt Creek, and It was good. Yeah, we met and we all went to Lincoln that night and spent the night at like somebody's house. I think it was like whoever's the Salt Creek house.
Brian Nathan's.
Yeah.
And then we all got into the Relentless van together with their trailer and stuff. And we did the rest of that tour in that van. And so we got to know each other very well in that van. It was a big old crock pot of stuff.
A slow cooking friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a heavy dose of tomfoolery.
Yeah, we just got to hang out and be friends before like anything else. And that was sick.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like when you pick somebody to work with, like you want to, like, you know, sometimes being friends might not be the best thing, but it helps like when you're on the same page with stuff and at least have like good senses of humor that get along and all that fun stuff. But also just like being in the van, we also got to kind of just bounce bands and songs and stuff that we all really liked off of each other and get to learn like what he really likes. And I think, Jeremy, you're like one of the only people that we've worked with that like has almost like really similar influences and things that you dig as like almost the collective four of us. You know, like you're almost a good cross section of all four of us put together, which is really weird, you know? And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was like perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say, oh, sorry, real quick. I remember being in the van that one time you were like up front and you were playing one of the Balance and Composure records and you were like talking about some stuff that you were hearing that either like I hadn't heard yet, like I hadn't picked it out myself, or I had picked it out and it surprised me that somebody else was also like noticing that. And I remember talking to John a couple days later thinking like, dude, we should like see if he would record us, like, because that is really cool. Like that's one of my favorite bands. So the fact that he's like picking that stuff up is really cool. Like, yeah, made a huge impression. So, yeah.
That good Balance record always gets me friends.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny. I like, oppositely, I wanted to liked your band, but also I liked you guys a lot. So like, there's always like you get on Instagram, there's all like the tough studio photos, like making a record day 2, you know, and it's like, and that's fine. Like I get that too, but I'm also like total goofs, you know? And so it's, so it's like, it's kind of like, it's not like we're not going to have fun making a record. Does that make sense? So it's like people who are overly serious are kind of are a little tough sometimes. And I think like sometimes I try to crack the shell a little bit and that has totally worked. And sometimes it's totally blown up in my face, but like, I don't know. You guys were really, really, I hate this word, like really chill. Like we hung out, we like listened to a lot of the same music. Like I, even within a couple of days of being on tour with you guys, if someone had been like, well, you and all the Weather dudes have to sleep in the same room, I'd have been like, comfortable, because I've been on a tour where I'm like, I don't think this other band likes me.
Well, we certainly had. I mean, like we've agreed on this as a group before, but like that tour with Salt Creek is like maybe the shows weren't the best, but
the worst.
Hot dang, we had a ton of fun. We had so much fun, just getting into whatever we were doing. Like
yeah. It's like you got to make them like. I was just filling in for Salt Creek for the record. I'm not actually in that band, but I don't know why anyone would care. But so yeah, the hired gun dude is causing a lot of ridiculous trouble.
I think that was my favorite tour, though, for sure. I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was. I haven't been on probably quite as many as you guys, but it definitely was top. Like
as far as just like hangs and it was for sure.
Yeah, as far as shows, obviously not.
Yeah. Totally. And we've
but
had
the company is great.
Yeah. We've had a lot of good we've toured with a lot of bands that we really, really like too. So like, I don't know, it was really fun.
Hell yeah. I'll have to tell the other bands what you told me. I don't know. It like so that for, I guess, going back to the like for me, I was like, I don't always offer every band to stay at my house. So I was like, oh yeah, they can happily have them here for a month. That'll be fun. Like, so
well, like even before that too, like we were coming through on a different tour and you offered us to stay at your house on tour, because I think we played in Lincoln, and then we had an off day and you offered to let us use your studio to demo stuff before we had like committed to recording with you.
Yeah. I mean,
it was just like a nice guy thing to do, you know, like
I just love to be involved, I guess. Like even if I'm not the dude doing it, like I want to help, you know. Like from an engineering perspective, like I had mentors offer me advice or let me borrow gear, and they didn't like, but I always loved it, and so a lot of those people became some of my best friends. So it's like yeah, absolutely. Like if I don't have anything going on, honestly, it gives me a reason to like not work because I'm like sick in the studio all day. I guess I'll have to get off. But
when we first saw your studio, it was just getting finished build, right? Like you were just wrapping it up. Yeah.
I remember being in the van picking the color of the room.
Yeah.
Should I go mental ward green? Like,
do you have any regrets now that you've lived in there for a while?
Absolutely not. Like,
that's awesome.
It
was a good vibe. Like, while we were in there, yeah.
It kind of puts you in this weird, like, because I have the windows, but like, even when it's dark, it doesn't feel. It's not like, oh man, I am so like.
Yeah.
It always kind of keeps you awake, and like, or like when I walk in here, it's kind of like just different headspace, and like maybe the bright color is just, I don't know. It's kind of like it's kind of a thing that's indirect paid off in other ways. Like it's just kind of like a weird environment creating thing, and like, I don't know. And I hope other people feel, you know, like, you know, because if it was just like plain white walls and black panels, like it'd be like, oh, it's another dude's room, you know. But
yeah, totally.
Well, I think the way that the light reflects in there helps a lot, but also like you're able to tone it down too. Like you can make it dark and kind of like ambiance, you know. It's nice. I enjoy the color.
Put up that will be cool for tracking vocals. So if you guys ever come hang out again, we'll hang out.
Let's do it.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
I'm glad you guys came.
Yeah. We're super glad that you let us come and hang out. So, well, the next question I got lined up here is from our friend Jesse Ledbetter.
Hey.
He's asking, what was the most difficult thing for y'all to track? Was there a specific time you had to come up with a creative solution for an issue? I don't know if anybody's got anything coming to mind.
I mean, I was trying to think about this for a minute, like, because I saw the question earlier and I was like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember stuff like that. So.
I'm willing to bet that we all had our individual parts that were difficult to track, but I don't know if there was any like creative discrepancies that like really held us up.
Well, from an outside perspective, I would say that Final Form was kind of in that spot just as a song. We didn't really know what we wanted to do with it. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, and that was kind of the thing that we just had to figure out what to do. And we kept circling back to like, this is the way the song sounds best, is just letting it be in its natural state. And I think I remember we kind of I mean, it's not a hard, like complicated song, so the creative solution isn't like anything groundbreaking, but we just like did it live in a room with the lights down low. Like I think there's a lamp on, all the lights off, and like that's what it is on the record. You know?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was thinking of like what's the last song on the record?
Like the Sun.
Okay.
Yeah, we had some tough spots on there too, right?
That's true, yeah.
For some reason I was thinking we were talking about Like the Sun too. But yeah, Final Form was definitely that. But Like the Sun was a little bit like that too.
We tried like a totally keyboard idea on that one, and then like it sounded too much like that Death Cab song. And then so we kept one thing of that, I think, like one of the like the melody that follows the guitar line, and then like we had tried like 2 or 3 different leads in that middle section, and then it ended up being like the simplest idea was so good. And then my favorite part of that one, sorry, I kind of took this one over, but
take it though. Oh, I want to know. Yeah.
I think my favorite part of that one is I don't remember what record I was listening to, but they were doing this thing where they recorded acoustic vocal at the same time, but then they double tracked it and panned it hard left. So if the person performs it tight enough, it doesn't sound totally like 2 takes, except for like the really small differences in the strumming. And so then it kind of creates this weird. So I remember Justin being game to try that out, and it was literally like the last thing we recorded. But and you were like away from Mike, but it turned out really cool because I remember we also tracked a version with just like close mic separated, but I was like,
we didn't know how to end that song. Like
we didn't know how to end it. Yeah, we had a fade out or something, right?
That was the thought. It was like either we're gonna fade out, and you were adamantly against the fade out.
Well, I didn't like the fade out because there's another song with the fade out, isn't there?
I mean, it started out as a fade out, and then we sent you like an audio clip, and then that's like a hard cut.
Yeah, we hard cut it to a.
Yeah, but that's basically a fade out. Like,
hey,
it's a fade out with extra steps.
Yeah.
But I was,
and for the end of a record, like,
no, we can do better. You know,
I think something that we struggled with, like as far as creative stuff goes. I know that like when Justin and I were down in the basement working on the audio clips that we sent you after the fact. We had a hard time, right, Justin? Like we weren't sure what we were doing, and like it was like we had a couple of arguments, and it got really tricky to like figure out like how to take it from there. But I wouldn't be able to remember anything specifically about it. I just know that we had a long week working on it, right?
What did you guys?
You had a hard time. You had a hard time. I knew exactly what I wanted.
Oh, okay. Well, then you wouldn't share it with me.
What did you guys overdub?
Well, so I think we worked on a bunch of MIDI stuff. Right?
Oh, okay.
And then we had we added like a guitar part to one of the choruses in Dark Joy. Is that the song?
No,
in this
Ghost Tape 10.
Oh yeah, Ghost Tape 10. Excuse me.
It wasn't
In This World had a lyric change.
Yep, In This World.
Yeah,
We added some vocals to Like the Sun.
It's going back to Like the Sun though, like even like the last bit of that song where Justin's like just him and the acoustic guitar. When we finished the record, we forgot to record that. Like we were like listening to like the end of that song. We're like, oh crap! So like Justin just like one took it.
Well, then we
one taked it, and like that's what's on the record. Because we were like done for the day, and then we realized we forgot that final.
That's part. Right. That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
That was.
Well, yeah, we did drums at that part too, right?
Yeah, we had the drums done from earlier, so we knew what was going to happen.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
Yeah.
There was one other thing you guys forgot.
What is it?
It was it's totally not. We had, and there's a lead one of the songs that never got reamped. It was just always the amp sim. So because like I do the placeholder amp sims, right?
Yep.
And then when we're ready for reamping, we just take them off. It was like something that got added within the last couple days, and because we were kind of like trying to tie off all the loose ends across the record, we just like forgot. It's just like but the thing is, like, I listened to it and I was like, it sounds totally fine. Like
I have to know what part you're talking about. I have to know. Am I the only one dying to know?
I need to know too. Yeah.
It'll take me. Okay. Can I text you guys later? Or do we need to know in this thing?
You can text us later if you want.
Yeah, text us later.
You guys can update everyone if anyone's really curious.
Yeah.
Wait, but so to this day, it's like the amp sim?
Yeah, because it's a part that's like literally 20 seconds long, if even that. It's like in a pre-chorus or something. It's like
Oh, is it in Hung Up or no?
I'm wondering. Maybe
I can't remember the name of the song.
Dude, which one's the
Chasing
song
Me?
Like, what's the song that's like kind of heavy? That's like bam, bam, bam. Doom.
Oh, that's
Ghost
Tape.
Ghost Tape. Yeah.
I want to say there's a lead. There was an intentional amp sim thing that we did not change because John and we like put Decapitator on the DI and just.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we messed it up. Yeah.
Nice.
But I think there's another one in that song. I'll find it and I'll let you guys. It's your song. But
yeah, I do remember
awesome.
that. The messing up that. Yeah, that was fun.
I also have a funny one. If you guys want to know something that was really hard to track.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when we on the song that was called Moonlight?
Yeah.
In the keys.
Oh yeah.
We're recording.
Yeah.
We were like tapping on my key to make it do the little ding thing.
I remember we recorded it because there's like these pitched, and it's after the first chorus going into the second verse.
That's right. Mach 7.
Yeah, and we were like clinking on glasses or something, but like I remember having to pitch bend them into the key of the song, which was fine. But then we hit the cups, but it just sounded weird. So like you ended up hitting the mic with a key, and that was like
oh yeah.
We were going for this specific like ships in a yard sound or something, and we went fully down the rabbit hole. Like I'll give you guys.
We spent like over an hour on that, right? Like we were just like out there messing around doing,
And I think
drumsticks on anything.
Partly that was like day one still, so we were all right, let's get weird,
We were full send,
yeah. By the end of that last day, that would have not flown.
We would not have done that. No, there's no way. Hey strangers, to hear the full unedited version of this podcast episode of our Q&A with Jeremy Wurst, you can head over to our brand new Patreon page, which you can find by going to patreon.com/weatheredmn. And you can subscribe to any of the tiers there and you'll get access to that podcast. We've got a ton of weekly exclusive content and other fun stuff brewing over there on that Patreon page from all of us in the Weathered crew. Once again, you can check out what the Patreon is all about by going to patreon.com/weatheredmn. But we just want to thank you so much for listening and watching and checking out this video. We had a ton of fun getting to talk to Jeremy and reminisce about the making of Everything All at Once. We hope that you enjoyed it, that you had a good time listening to it, and we're also going to be putting out part 2 of this chat with him, so keep an eye out for that as well. Thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it.